Hey, Dave here from PowerQuest with an intro tutorial to PowerQuest. PowerQuest is my tool for the Unity game engine for making 2D point-and-click adventures. 20 years ago, I found this tool called Adventure Game Studio, and that's what really got me excited about making games. Like, I opened up this tool and I was able to just chuck in some art and have a character walking around and saying dialogue lines, and I was hooked making games from then on. Got a job in game studios and then quit and went indie and was using Unity. So I've been using Unity for the last 10 years, and I wanted to keep making adventure games. And using Unity, it's like I got used to all the fancy kind of modern tools of a modern engine, but I really wanted to keep making point-and-click adventures, and I missed how simple and easy to use Adventure Game Studio was. And while, people are still using Adventure Game Studios today and making awesome stuff with it, I wanted to get the best of both worlds with the power of Unity and the ease of use and the fun of making games in Adventure Game Studio. And so I've been making PowerQuest. It's been a sort of work in progress the last 5, 6, 7 years. But it's fully featured now, and there's lots of people making games with it. So over 50 games people have released with it now. Lots of people using it. And anything from like smaller game jams to big commercial games. It's well suited to game jams because you can really just like all the stuff to make it a point and click is already there, and so you can just concentrate on making the content you want to make. So there's been a few first places, podium finishes for various game jams like Adventure Jam and things like that by PowerQuest games. But also a bunch of awesome commercial games getting made with it. Will of Arthur Flabbington, which is a sort of like reminiscent more of an Adventure Game Studio game, if you're familiar with that style. All about characters and little jokes and fun puzzles. Then you've got that's solo dev as well, and then you've got bigger productions like Locomotive, amazing pixel art in this one. That's coming out soon on Steam, or depending when you watch this video, it's probably out already. Tourist Trap was another one. This one's high-res art, so I really wanted to make PowerQuest sport pixel art because it's not something that Unity does that well out of the gate. But obviously, because it's a modern engine, it does really high-res stuff really nicely as well. My big game that I've been working on, another pixel art but quite a modern style adventure game, The Drifter, point-and-click thriller thing. It doesn't have to be modern. You can go way back to like this is another little game series I've been making, really early Sierra style art and stuff. It's very flexible. There's even a parser template that was added recently, so you can make the really old school games where you type and stuff. You can, if you're curious, you can dive into these. PowerQuest is really made for making any of this kind of game, like any of the games you see here. But let's just dive in and get started showing Unity stuff. So, your first port of call might be the itch page if you've come to that, which you can find at powerhoof.itch.io, or it might be this one, which is powerquest.powerhoof.com. But if you're at the itch page, scroll down, there's this scripting API and editor documentation. So click that button and you come to this page, and it's got a bit of the intro spiel and all that stuff. But if you click Getting Started, this page shows sort of the current recommended version of Unity to use. If you click that, it'll take you to Unity sort of download archive for older versions. I tend to use an older version, so at the moment it's 2020, but you can check this page for what the currently most supported version is. It's basically the one I'm using day to day. Newer ones are usable, but just less tested by me. Download, get Unity and download PowerQuest, and then start setting up a project. So when you downloaded Unity Hub, which is the sort of comes with downloading Unity, you click New Project, and then we'll make a new one using 2D. The built-in render pipeline is what it might go to, just because it's the simplest built-in one. Project name, maybe PowerQuest Toot. And I don't even know what this thing means. Don't want any fancy Unity features, really. Create project. That should boot up Unity. Now I've scaled Unity a bit so things are just a bit bigger on screen. So usually when you look at it, everything will be less fat looking. But yeah, I'll give you a quick rundown. Well, first let's install PowerQuest. So this is opened up now, and I've got a little folder here. With it's got the Unity package I've downloaded from the itch page, and a bunch of art I can test out. So all you have to do if Unity is open is double click the PowerQuest Unity package, and it should import it. All right, so this has a bunch of files in it. You just want to click import everything. All right, and then it'll bring up this little PowerQuest box thing, and here you can set up your template project basically. So the default one is sort of a 1 or 2 click interface, a bit like Wadget Eye games are, a lot of modern point and click adventures, but beneath a steel sky if you want to go back to older style games. There's a 9-verb template. That's more like the old LucasArts Monkey Island, Day of the Tentacle, stuff like that. An HD template, which is the same as the default one, but if you don't want to use pixel art, if you want to have high-res graphics, that's a good starting point. Oh, there's a text parser if you want to be typing in things with the keyboard, like really old Sierra games. But we'll just show the default one for now. So select that and click Set It Up. All right. Now, I'll do an overview of the sort of the Unity layout. So everything is these tabs, and you can drag these wherever you want. So I'll put this one here, and maybe whack the project down here, and maybe the game down here, so we can sort of see everything at once. Zoom that out. All right. So there we go. So on the left, we've got this hierarchy window and this project window. The hierarchy has all the objects that are in the current scene. So that's, for example, click, so we've got a camera here and some other stuff. And then down here, we've got basically all the files in the entire project in different folders. So I've got a game folder, we've got an audio folder with sounds in it. And then on the right, we've got this PowerQuest window. And the idea behind PowerQuest is you don't have to worry too much about these windows with a million different objects in them, because PowerQuest will manage that a lot for you and let you just worry about the main things that go into an adventure game. So yeah, but then we've also got this scene. And so this is basically a sort of preview, an editable preview of what's in your game. So if we jump across to the forest scene, I can pick something here and move it around. So in Unity, you might be like scaling things or rotating them, things like that. And so this is like a preview of what things look like. I'm just going to undo that. And then when you preview the game, you'll be previewing it down here in this game window, or wherever you've docked that. And the other thing to look at is when you've selected an object, either here or over here, you have this inspector window, which is showing you all the data that you can edit for that object. So for this room, I can set whether the player is visible, a bunch of other information. So we'll go back to here, and I'm just going to hit play up the top, and that will jump us right into testing the game. PowerQuest, new game. I guess this is a test project for an adventure game, and I'm going to maximize this so it's nice and big. Sherlock's Adventure-y. Left click to walk and interact, right click to look at. So yeah, it's got the basic 2-click thing. I can right click the well to look at it. Well. I've got inventory up here. I can pick up this bucket. Dave stoops to pick up the bucket. Yay, I got a bucket. Access your inventory from the top of the screen. So yeah, I've got this inventory here. Can interact with things. Dave lowers the bucket down and collects some juicy well water. Yay, I solved the real hard puzzle. The end. Yay. And yeah, there's some other built-in things like save game interface, options and things. So stuff that, boilerplate stuff that you're not going to have to worry about because it's already done for you, which is very nice. So let's make that small again. The next thing to show you would be this PowerQuest pane. So we've got a list of all the kind of different objects you might want to interact with in a point-and-click adventure. So you've got rooms. Unity uses the
the name scene for like a location. Adventure Game Studio uses the word room, and so I used room to differentiate sort of a adventure game room from a Unity scene. But if you click the scene button, you can jump straight between all your different rooms. You've got characters, so Dave is the main character initially, and you've got Barney, this other character. And for both of those, you've got all the data they have. So they both have slightly different text colors when they talk, different starting positions and rooms. You've got inventory items, and then you've got dialogue trees, which are sort of, the Monkey Island style thing where you get a sort of little pop-up that lets you choose some different dialogue items. And you've also got GUIs, so like all the different graphic user interfaces you might want to edit. So yeah, switching across to the Room tab, we've got hotspots. So these are objects which don't have any art associated with them, like the sky, but you can click and interact with them in game. And again, you've got data, so it shows the description, which could be whatever you want. Deep dark forest. And then you've got props. So these are things that have actual art associated with them. So, your background, which, so you can see this background image is separate. Foreground images. These ones aren't interactive. There's nothing to click on there. But say the well here and this bucket, they are interactive. And then we've got regions. So these are areas that if you walk in there, something will happen. Like in this one, the data's set up so that it tints your character, makes you change color. And there's another one which scales the character up the top. A point is just a location that you can sort of set up with a name, and that's where the player walks to at the start. And you've also got walkable areas, and that's got a special editor. If you minimize this polygon thing, it's a bit clearer to see what's going on. But yeah, so you basically set out the area that you want to be walkable just by like clicking these sort of walkable, this sort of painting this stuff here. Hold Control to change the size. Yeah, you can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel. You can hold Shift to just edit points. But yeah, mostly you click to draw, right click to erase, and yeah, you can hold Shift or change the point and right click individual points. And yeah, that's the same for things like this well. It's got an edit hotspot shape thing. So, if you're starting with nothing, you can draw out your kind of shape, and then you might, if you want to not be able to click in this middle bit, you can right click to erase that part. Something like that. Yeah, so props have a bunch more data as well. So, we've got whether they start visible and clickable. So, some things have parallax, so as you walk, the screen will move around back, left and right. And everything under that data fold down in all these things is something you can edit in your game scripts. So let's wander around. So you can see the parallax things sort of move over the top. You've got this region back here which scales you down, and this other one over here which makes you green. And what else can I show you? If you talk to Barney, this is the Monkey Island kind of style dialogue tree. There's a tools tab as well with lots more settings for like project settings, exporting text and all that stuff. But that's a bit out of the scope of an intro tutorial. So we'll jump straight into how you do scripting. That'll be the next fun thing. As you can see, all these interactable things have these buttons: look, use, and inv. Or the regions, they have an enter and an exit, and these buttons. And so these are all the interactions that the character can make. So the ones that are highlighted here are ones that already have one. So if I use the cave, for example, click on the cave, he says, "No way am I going in there. There might be beetles." And if we click this use button here, it opens up. I'll just dock it here. Opens up the script editor, and you can see exactly where those lines of dialogue are being written. And so the idea with this is it is coding, but it's a lot more like writing a movie script or something. So if I wanted Barney to say something, No way. All I have to do is that. And a nice feature of PowerQuest is I can be testing the game. As long as I hit save, when I click back in the game, the change will have happened already. So I can then do that action again. No way, I'm going in there. There might be beetles. No way. And you can see that that change comes through straight away. If we right click the cave, it just says it's nothing interesting. That's just a default response because there's no look. And so we could tell Dave to face what you clicked, and then say it's a dark cave. You compile or save, and we right click again, it's a dark cave. And then say we want to do something more complicated. So say maybe Barney, we want Barney to face Dave. There's a bunch of different commands, and I'll show you how to figure this stuff out. But for characters, you can just type C and then a dot, and it'll list all the characters. Currently, it's just Barney and Dave, so not that many. But you can choose which one you want, and if you press dot again, it'll show you all the different functions that you can do with a character. There's a lot there. But in this case, we want Barney to face Dave. So if I type face, now it'll just list all the different ways you can tell Barney to face something. So we can make him just face left, or face what you clicked. But let's just make him face, and then C.Dave. So face the Dave character, and say, sure is. Yeah, so a lot of the coding stuff you'll do has these little C dot or something similar. So for example, a hotspot is H dot. So hotspot cave, you could change the cursor for that to be the look cursor. And so now once he's clicked it, it'll have changed the cursor to look. And as I sort of showed before, all the hotspots have this data here. So they've got all this stuff. So you can see there's a description. So I could change the cave.description to just to dark cave. How about that? Yeah, well, you can do heaps of things. You could E is for all the engine sort of functions. So you can make it fade out. I could do a zoom of camera dot zoom. We'll set zoom. That's nice. Let's do 1.5 over 1 second. We'll stick that up here, dark cave, and then maybe we'll reset the camera. So can't remember what the name is, so I'll just type zoom and see. Oh yeah, reset zoom. That's what I want. Transition time. 1 second will do. Let's see if this works. So what are we doing? Right click it. It's a dark cave. Sure is. Zoomed in, zoomed out. And now it says it's a dark cave and changes to an eyeball. So anyway, there's some crazy advanced scripting we just did. And you might be like, how on earth am I going to remember all these things? And the best place to you don't need to remember it. You can open up the documentation. I'll stop that now. Open scripting API here. And that's going to take you to this website again. And here there's a scripting introduction, which will just tell you a bit of the basics of it and how to use the scripting editor. There's also there's an editor manual with all that information, and then there's a scripting overview thing. So this is a good place to just start. Like how I said C dot is for characters. This has like C dot for character, and it shows you a bunch of examples of the different things characters will do. So C.Barney.room, you can set that, or setting positions. Setting animations, etc. R dot for room, E dot for engine, I for inventory item, D for dialog tree. And then you can click any of these and see like a big list of all the different functions if you want to get that deep. But another good way of doing it is just clicking around the test game and having this and trying out this feature auto load. And what this does is whatever you're clicking around in the game, it will load that script. So if I look at the well with the right click, it shows the character says well, and it shows the script that's doing that. So if you want to figure out, okay, well, how do I pick up a bucket from the ground or pick up an inventory item from the ground? You can do it in this test thing. Click it, and it says up here what's happening
in the script, as you're playing the game, it says Dave stooped to pick up the bucket. It played this bucket sound effect, turned off a prop, which must have been that bucket prop, and added this bucket item as the active item, made the player face down, say a couple of lines of dialogue. And similarly, if I click the bucket on something, it shows, it's checking if the item used was a bucket, and then it's saying all the things that happen. And so it's a good idea to leave the template project scene there while you start building your game, just so you've got that as an example and a reference. All right, so next thing we should do is create a character. To do that, go to the main tab, you got this characters list, and just click the little plus underneath. Let's call him Jim. All right, so if we click on the scene again, now we've got this scene here with not much in it. Just got some boxes and stuff. There's no sprites or anything. How do we get art in the game? Okay, so that's the next thing we'll show. When I click that plus to create the character, it created a new folder under this character folder called Jim, and that's got a bit of stuff in there already. It's got the object you'll edit, an importer thing, and some sprites folder. So I've got this folder here with some art in it, and so that's got a bunch of sprites. We just want these ones. Sprites folder is where you can drag some sprites for that character. And then we want to create some animations from those sprites too. And so we've got idle, talk, and walk frames. So the easiest way from here to create an animation is just right click, create anim from sprites, and then you can do that for all of them. And if there's multiple frames, right click both, and you can see he's already showed up here. And I like to put all the animations up in the characters folder here, and just make it a bit neater. So you've got the animations here, and the sprites can go under there. Cool, so we've got a few animations here. Our character here, if you click him, he's got his sprite has appeared here. If you wanted to, you can change under this sprite renderer thing. You could change what sprite is showing up by default. If you wanted a different one, it'll pick the one it got the name from the current character's idle name. So this could be anything, but by default, idle is for his idle animation. When he walks, he uses a walk animation, and when he talks, he uses a talk animation. Very easy. There's a few more things to set up with our character. If I click him up here again. Firstly, at the moment, he's standing kind of way down here where his feet really should be on this baseline. And so that's something specific to characters you want to set up is their pivot. And so the easiest way is right at the top of the character component here, just drag it up. And then, so it looks like about 39 will do. You can zoom in and out to check it. So yeah, that's where we want him. You could edit his hotspot like you do for other things. But in his case, scroll down in the characters data and tick this use sprite as hotspot. And that way, no matter how he moves, the sprite will, his clickable area will be the same. But actually, because we want him to be the playable character in this case, I'm going to untick that. But yeah, there's not much else we need to set up. We could change his dialogue text to be a bit red. How about that? There's this little tiny arrow here, and that's how you could get back out of that. Or I think pressing escape does the same thing. Back out of that, back into the scene. If you want to see how they look in the scene, you can drag your character in there, but just note that anything you change, because characters can go across different scenes, anything you change in here is really just for previewing the character. So say I've got, say, his sprite here. If I change that to his up sprite because I want to sort of see how he looks and move him over here, when I test the game, he won't be like that. He won't be there at that position because this is just previewing him. So to edit him, you can click this arrow here. You could click this overrides button, apply all, or just make sure when you're making your changes, you click this edit prefab and put them in there. And so for example, like his position we've set him to here is -22, -60. So I can click edit prefab, position, -22, -60, and maybe we want to start him in the forest room. So we can put the forest. And that's how you set up a character to start him in a particular room. So yeah, if I go back and hit play, he should appear there. Yep, so it's pretty giant, but whatevs. This my Dave character is the playable one, and to fix that, you just whatever the first one is in the character list is the playable one, and then you can change that in the script as well. If we press play, ooh, we've got some other stuff to fix. So he'll start his walking animation, but he doesn't finish it. And so for that, we've got another editor, another window to learn. If you click on window up here and go to Power Sprite Animator, which I'll just drag up here. And then whenever you click on an animation, it'll open it in Power Sprite Animator. And this is another tool I wrote actually separately, but it's a big part of PowerQuest. And that makes it really easy to edit your animation. So in this case, I'm just want to make this one looping, and then you can preview it. Yeah, it's a bit fast, so I'm going to just select all these and drag out the frames. That looks pretty good. One other thing I might do with the character is make him walk a bit faster, maybe walk speed up a bit. Try that out so he's nice and nippy. Yeah, and then hit play, see what that's like. Yeah, so actually make it faster again, so it's nice and yeah, let's make him real fast. Look at him go. Looks good. Game complete. Cool. So one other thing you might have noticed with my animations is this is called Walk R. And when I click on Jim over here, he's got his visuals set up. He's got an animation name specified for his idle and his walk and his talk animations. But they don't have the R, or in case, or there's an I here as well. So there's two idle animations, but one's R and one's U. And so the way characters facing direction stuff works in PowerQuest is you just have to set the final character of the animation name to be R for right, U for up, D for down, L for left. And it will automatically know, okay, that's a right-facing animation, and if he starts walking left, I'll just flip it, you know? And if so there's a walk R, but there's no walk up, then it'll just go, oh, there's no up one, I'll just keep using the right-facing walk. You can also do an upright, so UR or UL for up left, so the diagonals and stuff. And so, yeah, just by naming your animations, that stuff all works really nicely. Let's jump into setting up a new room. Similar to creating a character, if you go to this Rooms tab here, this Rooms tab here, Title Forest, we want to add another one. And we're going to call this one Cave. Save the current scene. It creates an empty looking scene. So we'll switch to the Room tab. And first thing, we need a bit of art in here. So we can we've got this sort of sprites folder here, so we've got a roomcave.png to stick in this room sprites folder. Let's make a prop for the visuals for the background. It's not interactive. Let's call it BG for background. And then what's our sprite? Our sprite is called Room Cave. So we can scroll down to that sprite renderer and drag the Room Cave sprite in there. Or alternatively, we could have just changed this animation name to Room Cave, and that would have shown up. What do we want to do next? Okay, well, I guess we should set up a walkable area. So this is the area that the player can walk around in. So I sort of showed it a bit before, but you can drag one of these out. Probably spend a bit more time on it than I am, but close enough. And get rid of this bit. Maybe make it a bit more there. And yep, that'll do. If you wanted to make if there's something you want to walk around, you can right click to make a hole, etc. So, well, that's the walkable area set. Let's do some hotspots. So we've got, say, got this rock over here. I guess let's call it a rock. That's easier. So create a hotspot for a rock. Edit the shape. That could be this stalactite thing. And this one, I'll call it stalagmite. I don't know if that's how you spell it. Baseline is sort of controls whether you're in front or behind something. We can look at it. And so that's the point you look at when you say character look at this thing. And this is the point you walk to if you want to walk to it.
Let's do an exit one as well. So if we want to exit the room, same thing. Let's just do a big square. And walk to there. Let's have a little test of this and see how it works. Hit play and see what happens. Okay, well the character starts kind of standing on top of the top of the ground. Yeah, so we've got to fix that, don't we? We've got to make him walk behind stuff. And you can click the stalagmite, but nothing really happens. So let's do some stuff, extra stuff. Back to the scene. Okay, so really we want to work out how to be able to walk behind stuff. And to do that, I'm going to show you a different way of importing sprites and animations into PowerQuest or into Unity at all. And this is another tool I sort of made. So I'm using ASprite. You can use, Photoshop works. I mean, anything works really. But ASprite lets me, let's grab this art folder. The importer lets me grab an ASprite file or a Photoshop file, and there's an importer sort of file added to every character and room. And so there'll be one there for you. You can copy and paste them and make more if you want. But that lets you kind of quickly that sort of have a map between your source art files and your actual game file. So now I've hooked that up, I can click open an editor, and it opens up with my ASprite file with this background in it. All right, so back to Unity. So I can't import it yet. I've got to actually set up what actually is in this. So I want to import a background. So what have we got? We've got a background image, we've got a foreground image, and we've got this amulet with a nice shiny animation. So background, foreground, and amulet. And then this field here is for what frame that starts on. So our background starts on frame 2. Let's just stick a 2 there. You can import these from tags from ASprite if you want, if you're using ASprite. And I'm also going to make this amulet one loop. Yeah, that's all you need. And you can click, we don't really need an animation for the background or the foreground, but it doesn't hurt. So I'm just going to click import sprites and create animations. And ta-da, it's just magically done them all. And so now I can actually hit play and see this, preview this animation right here. Beautiful and sparkly. Now we also want to create some props for these different things. There is actually a thing in here that you can create a prop from here. So you can create a prop or a clickable prop from right in the importer as well, but I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way and just make one called foreground. It's not interactive, and one called amulet. That is interactive. Ta-da, create. All right, so now it doesn't look much different, but let's set up some other stuff. So like foreground, I want the baseline because I never want to walk in front of the foreground, so I want the baseline below. I'll jump back because I think I missed actually explaining this. In the forest, a good example of is the well for a baseline. So basically the way to tell the player to either that they're behind or in front of something is by where this baseline is. And so when the player is above this baseline, they'll be behind the well. When they're below the baseline, they'll be in front of the well. And that's how that works. So yeah. Behind, in front, and that's controlled by this baseline. Okay, so I think I missed saying that. So yes, let's jump back to the cave. So now we've got background and foreground, an amulet. We need to set this up. Let's call it a shiny thing. And maybe we want to use it to see if we can grab it. And get rid of that. We'll set up look at position and walk to position. Makes it easier for us later. Let's say we can look at this rock, face clicked, and maybe Jim can say, nice rock. Why not? What else can we do? Oh, okay. I can set up some points to show you them. Points are basically just positions in a room. So let's make a point for where we enter the room. Call it enter. So maybe we'll enter from way down here, and then maybe another point for where we walk to. walk to when we enter the room. Maybe he walks over here, and a bit of scripting so that when he comes into the room, he walks over here. So we could select the room, and then you can see there's a big list of different script like functions that you can use for when you enter a room, or you can click this drop down here for the same thing. So there's ones here with BG. That means it's something that happens in the background. So if I wanted the player to say something and then walk somewhere, then I don't want them to start walking until they've finished saying something. So that means it can't be something that runs in the background. It's got to like happen one thing after the other. So in that case, I won't use the BG function. I'll use this on enter after fade. Okay, let's drag this down here for now. So we want to set the player. C.gym will work, or C.player, or just PLR. Player, and we want to set their position to that entry point. Points dot enter. And then we want to player.walk to points.walk to. And then maybe you can face left, player.face left, and say, nice cave. Let's see, that should do. Well, let's see how that works. First, nice cave. Cool. We could make him pause a little bit. So ... will just give a little pause. So 4 dots will give a bigger pause, 2 dots a smaller one. That sort of helps you with a bit of timing. And there's also some shortcut keys in the documentation for, say, and so I don't have to stop the game and start it again to restart this room. I can press tilde and F9 and then just do that again. Cool. Nice rock. Yeah, so there we go. Nice rock. And oh, the shiny thing isn't very interesting. And it doesn't work when you click it. So now if you click this drop down, you'll see all the different functions inside this room as well. Just another little thing. But yeah, because I've clicked it now and auto loads clicked, it's taking me to this function. So let's walk to the amulet and face it. Let's see how that works. Faces it. All right, and then we'll display a message pop-up thing saying you grab the amulet. We want to hide the amulet, so it's a prop p.amulet, and we want to hide it. So I guess hide. If you weren't sure, I guess you could look at the props amulet and say, oh, there's a visible and a clickable tick box, and so you could say visible equals false because you want to turn that off, and clickable equals false. But yeah, then once you've looked at the documentation, you might find, oh, there's this hide function, and that does both. I don't have to do it that complicated way. Yeah, and so maybe we'd want to add an inventory item. So I for inventory item, pretend that bucket says amulet because we've added an amulet to the inventory item list, and then add. We could add 1. And let's face player.face down. And ... Yay. Save that. Let's see if it works. So yeah, we can walk around behind stuff, click the shiny thing, you grab the amulet. Yay. The amulet's gone. We've got our bucket, our fake amulet. Clicking exit doesn't do anything yet. That's another one we can do. Walk and click, face clicked. And I want to change room, so I guess we want the player to change the room. So player change. You can type in room because you're not sure what it is. Ooh, change rooms there. I'll try that. And then room start with R. So R dot. We're in the cave. We're going to go to the forest. R dot forest. Cool. So let's go to the forest. And it's starting me in the wrong place. So we want to fix that, don't we? We also want it so when you click on the cave, it takes us back to the cave instead of saying this other stuff. So let's get rid of this and then do change room cave. That one. What else do we want to do? Oh yeah, when we enter this room. So this is selected the forest now. So if I click this and change on enter room after fade, this is the thing that happens when you first start the game. We'll get rid of that for now, just as an example. And let's do player.position equals, maybe we'll say that we want the cave's walk to spot to be where you start. Well, I can do set position if that's easier. Set position, so hotspot.cave.walk to point. And then another little trick in the scene, you can see down here, there's like the mouse position and it says Control M to copy. So you can kind of just grab any point in the scene you want and press like where the mouse is, press Control M and it'll copy that to the clipboard. And then you can paste that into a script. So sometimes if you just want to do something really quick without setting up a point and everything, walk to, paste that in. Well, let's see if that works. Dun, 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 into the cave. Nice cave. There's a stalagmite there. Go exit again. We're back out here. Dun, 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 worked. We can go back and forth. We do everything we want. Cool. Yeah, so I guess I'll leave it there. So there's this documentation page, which is where you kind of learn more about the scripting stuff as you go. But yeah, the other place that you should really check out is the Discord, discord.gg/powerhof, because we've got a sort of little forum-y thing in there where there's lots of people asking questions. I love answering, helping people out there, sharing their stuff, helping each other and stuff like that. So that's really cool. Yeah, so hopefully that's enough to get you started, and you can make me some cool point and clicks to play, and maybe I'll see you in the Discord. All right, bye.